With 2015 being labeled as a crybaby era, meaning everyone complained or took offense to everything and anything, people really started to dig into the issues that have been covered in dust for years. Racism has always been an ongoing problem in the United States. In quotes, I cannot believe that we don't have the heart in this body to do something meaningful, such as take a symbol of hate off these grounds on Friday, said State Representative of South Carolina, Jenny Horn, in tears about the bill being delayed to remove the Confederate battle flag from the State House grounds. The emotion that Jenny Horn had expressing her concern about the flag being removed is a prime example of the controversy whether the flag represents hatred and racism or history and sacrifice. While banning the Confederate flag may ease those minds of opinion on race, I'm going to tell you what the flag stands for, what the flag represents, and how it is an act of treason. Beliefs and opinions set aside, the Confederate flag is a part of history. As stated in Embattled Banner, the flag as we know it was born not as a symbol, but as a very particular banner. The commander of the Confederate Army in Virginia saw a distinctive emblem as an alternative to the Confederacy's first national flag, the Stars and Bars, to serve as a battle flag, making it clear that the flag was used to differentiate the North from the South. According to the Confederate flag and the meaning of Southern history, the Yazoo City Monument proclaims that the men and women of the Confederacy fought for nothing less than the principle of liberty. They won the greater triumph of embodying to future generations the causes of honor and home and patriotism. Many people against displaying of the Confederate flag do not recognize the emotional significance it has to the soldiers and their families who fought under it. There are two main arguments of why the Confederate flag should be banned. The first is a misconception that the Civil War started because of slavery, causing an association between the Confederate flag and the agreement that slavery is acceptable. However, the Civil War actually started because the northern and southern sections of the United States had different political and economical views. An article from America's Civil War stated, all of this led to disagreements on issues such as taxes, tariffs, and internal improvements, as well as state rights versus federal rights. As the northern section of the United States became more industrialized, they no longer needed the manpower of slaves, which they did at one point have. Whereas the southern section was still agriculturally based, requiring extraneous amounts of people to work on plantations in order to keep the economy running. With the presence of Republican Abraham Lincoln, from a northern state, his intentions became clear when he won the 1880s presidential election, wanting to contain slavery so that it would spread. Southern states began to secede, which soon led to war. So while slavery was a factor, the Confederate flag represents much more than that. The second common argument for banning the Confederate flag is that it acts as a sign of treason. Before the United States could even call itself a country, it did the exact same thing. The Americas were colonized under the rule of Great Britain. According to Welling, in a background history in the beginning of the Revolution, the main reason the colonies started rebelling against Mother England was the taxation issue. The colonies debated England's legal power to tax them and, furthermore, did not wish to be taxed without representation. The colonists did not feel obligated to pay taxes when the country that rules over them is all the way across seas, so they committed an act of treason towards Great Britain and won their independence after fighting a long, bloody battle with the Redcoats. The colonists designed their own flags and stood up for what they believed was right. In the sense of the Civil War, the South designed their own flags as well. They were the Southerners' sign of support, showed who they were, and what they were fighting for. The only difference is the side of history a person grew up on and the ultimate reason of conflict. In the U.S. today, the Confederate flag, in some circles, is shown as hatred and racism towards African Americans. However, many of the South view this flag as their ancestors once did and believe it still has the same meanings as it did during the Civil War. In conclusion, I believe that the Confederate flag should be able to be displayed on public property. The representation of the flag is to show a sign of one's support and one's belief. We look back and see how women were oppressed, suffragists designed flags to show support of who they were and what they were fighting for. The LGBT community today displays their flag proudly in their pursuit for equality. While many associate the Confederate flag with slavery, it is not the original intent and stands for the same fights and principles that these other flags stand for. Not every single person is going to agree and approve and accept what others believe in, but that gives it no right to take away from those who do, state or individual views. Public property should have the ability to fly the Confederate flag due to the basic fact that it is a part of history and a major reason of why the United States is the way it is today. Thank you.